Hotep senu ena senut iti ren ishakan gukemet. Hotep senu ena senut iti ren ishakan gukemet. Okay, the sound is good. Inspired One, it's been a long time. I hope you're doing well. Now, let me just inform the people that I am live streaming. I don't have much time because I will have to go back to work. This is just my lunch break. So, let me look for the link so I can share it. In the meantime, brothers and sisters, feel free to ask your questions, make your comments. I will also share the invite link for those who want to call in, and particularly the people who have never called in before. Feel free, it will be good to hear from you. The first timers have the priority, that everybody's welcome. Oh, let's talk frankly, loud and clear. You're the brother from Belgium. That's another French speakers. So if some of you want to practice your French, then feel free. And you know that for those who don't know, French is the original tongue of the Asiatic black man. There is a video entitled "Deception of Asiatic Black Men." You will find the description. I mean, you will find the link in the description of this video, and you will see that the Asiatic black man movement derives from two white dudes, and France is really the birthplace of the Asiatic black men's movement. Hence why I said that French is the original tongue of the Asiatic black man. So if there's any Asiatic black man who wants to learn about the original language, I can tell them a few things. For example, if you want to say peace, God, they can say paix, Dieu. Even though people don't say that, they don't associate those two words like that. But any other thing you would like to know, I can tell you because I'm fluent in French. So now, I'm going to share the invite link. Just bear with me. Just bear with me. Invite. I would entitle the calling link. So I've shared it, I've pinned it so it appears at the top, but I'm sharing it once again. Now I will just let the people know that I'm live streaming, so it will not be long. Community. Oh, how to do this? Hold on. It will not be long, and I'll be right with you, brothers and sisters. So it's shared on YouTube, and now I will share it on Twitter. Twitter. Done. Okay, so Inspire One wrote, "You gotta go to the podcast Myth, Vision, and Derek Lambert. He had Joshua Bowen on saying the Sumerian text is the oldest written language, and he never mentioned the Medu Neter. I'm not surprised they like to say the Sumerian language. I mean, they know, most of these scholars know that the um, inhabitants of Kemet were black people, and they know that the inhabitants of Sumer were white people. So when they are faced with the question, which one is the oldest language, it's no surprise that they will say the Sumerian language. It's really black people who feel, who think, who believe that black people inhabited the Sumer, Mesopotamia, and all these areas without any documentation whatsoever. And I will stress that as many times as needed, but I'm aware that a lot of our people don't know that we have depictions of the inhabitants of these different areas. You see? Um, ok, ok, that's for the French speakers. Jungal va faire un live demain soir avec Jean Sobayo sur l'affaire Gomez. Merci pour l'info. Mais comment tu sais? So feel free, keep the comments going, brothers and sisters. And if you want to call in directly, then feel free. If you just want to leave a message, then feel free. If you never called in before, then be my guest. I might have some quote regarding that. Now, I don't know the individuals mentioned, but I might have some quotes. Uh, it's a shame. It's a shame. I predate. Okay. Uh, Let me try all this. Um, God, I have too many notes and I don't know what entry I should try when I search. Inspired One wrote, are there any books I can read and research to show Kemet slash Kush civilization is older than Mesopotamia? Um, I haven't finished the book for by Obenga. I have the French version. There is an English version. So I don't know if he addresses that. As a matter of fact, maybe he does because I took the notes in French. So let me have a look at my notes because the search that I did was with English words. Okay, do that. Keep the comments going. I'm just looking. Okay, I have one quote that doesn't necessarily mention that it's older, but it gives us a date. Okay, and I'm wondering what dates the other scholars, or the other, I don't know if they are scholars. I don't know what other dates they are giving. Oh, Eric, ça va? That's another French speaker. So let me show the dates. Oh, you know what? I will copy and paste that in another document. That, that. Um. Okay. I hope it's going to be large enough. Now let me share. So how is it now? How is it? How does it look? Okay. Um. What? I will use something else. I will use something else. Bear with me. I'm almost done. I'm about to quote a PhD. I'm not about to just make something up. And it is none other than Theophile Obenga. For those who don't know him, if you know Cheikh Anta Diop, well, Theophile Obenga was with him in 1974 when they had on their business in Cairo, in Kemet. So, oh, it's okay. I think it doesn't show. So if I do that, great. Now let me share it. Let me share it. Okay. So obviously that is French. I will translate. That'll be easy for me. Okay. So this is the title of the book, The African Philosophy, and it's page 21. So of course, once again, it is Dr. Theophile Benga, who is a linguist, amongst other things. He's a historian. He wrote the hieroglyphic writing appears in Egypt around 3100 BC. At the dawn of the first dynasty, during the time of the kings Narmer, Ka, Den, and maybe Senjeri. So we have a chronological um, marker. I can see Abjuwe, which I believe is Brother Ankh. I'm going to put you on in a few seconds. Greetings. Abjuwe, you're on the panel.
What's good? How you doing, brother? Black
I'm
African
chilling.
Power.
I'm chilling, brother. What's up with you?
Yeah, man. I just wanted to, always show my support for the real ones. It's not a lot of us out here, man. So I just appreciate your unwavering work. And while you talk about Theophile Banger, I just want to mention about the significance of the Cairo Symposium. And a lot of people kind of get that mixed up and wrong. It's not like Theophile Banger, Walt D. Rodney, and Cheikh Diop's. It wasn't a win like people think. The thing that was very significant is that the brothers introduced multidisciplinary to the field study, which actually allowed us to use different modes of science to actually bring the truth about what Kemet was. Before that point, they were strictly on one thing. But after Diops and them finished with them, they recognized that there were more than one way to skin a cat. and I think it actually pushed scholarship and academia forward at the Cairo Symposium. So now we use anthropology, archaeology, DNA, culture, everything. You know, textual critique, and this is what Theophile Benga, Cheikh Diops, and Walter Rodney actually brought. For the first time, Europeans recognized that you need to just, they what matter of fact, they wasn't even ready. Because Diops and them used a multidisciplinary approach. And so for the first time in the annals of history, that this approach was actually brought forward by these black scholars and scientists. I just want to kind of put that out there because most people misconstrued what really went on at the Cairo Symposium.
But do you, in your opinion, do you think that they misconstrue the outcome by thinking that it was a win? Is that your opinion?
Yeah, because that's minuscule. That wasn't it. It's the fact that now we can bring an African approach, looking at all things because you got culture, and we know Egyptian culture doesn't coalesce with Indo-European culture. We know the pots they use, the customs they use, the traditions they use, the drums they played, the ceremonies, all these mix and closely congened with African culture. And so if you leave all that out by saying, yeah, we proved they was black based off the color of their skin, then you leave out the whole discipline that will thoroughly entrench Egypt and Africa.
Well, just for the record, the conclusion indeed didn't say, well, Theophile Obenga and Cheikh Diop won their case. I mean, they won, and I don't expect them to say that. But one sentence of the conclusion, it might be a bit difficult for me to translate that in English, but and it might be the last sentence of the conclusion. It said that the other party, so you had one party which was Theophile Obenga and Cheikh Diop, and the other party that's all the other scholars or the other PhDs. The other party did not have let me look for that word in English to see if they have an equivalent for that word in English. Um,
They was outmatched. They didn't have enough
yes,
information.
yes, yes. That's a word like that. Like they were outmatched.
Mm,
Something to that effect. Something to
mm,
that effect. Or maybe not such a strong word, but something like they did not have as much elements, or they were not
yeah,
as prepared. Something to that effect. So
yeah.
it's like admitting that the other party didn't really do their thing,
One
and
prepared.
maybe they underest. Yeah, well, yeah, we can say that they were unprepared. So it is correct. It doesn't say okay they want you. The outcome was more in the favor of Theophile Obenga and Cheikh Diop.
They
And
what?
indeed, it's not just the color of the skin. Indeed, like you said, the linguistic played a big part, and Theophile Obenga is an expert in linguistics. And we can see correlation with different African languages. And then people can go and look at culture in general, compare with different African cultures. And as a matter of fact, in that book from Theophile Obenga, um, he, I'm only at the beginning of the book because it's about almost 700 pages. It's like 600 pages long. But right from the beginning, he addresses that. He makes correlations.
So they got a closing statement, and the closing statement, if you listen to it, is more in line with modern anthropology and DNA. And so we know that race is a social construct. So watch this. This is what they did. This is the conclusion they reached at the Cairo Symposium. They said the Egyptians was neither white nor black. Okay, so they was arguing over the Egyptians was white, was black, with black white Egyptians, which is stupid. And Theophile Banger was saying he was black. With the conference, with the sign, because it was a scientific conference. What they did was they took out the white and black element and they hit you with science. They got out of the social construct. They said the Egyptians is neither white nor black, but indigenous Africans ranging from all skin colors. That's what they did. And so for real, the conference was a win for indigenous African people. Because what it said was, remember in early Egyptology, they played this game. They say Africa was the dark land, and everybody that's dark is African, right? And then they drew a line and said sub-Saharan African. When they realized there were Africans that had lighter skin, like the Khoisan, they have light skin, and some Egyptians have light skin in North Africa. So when they seen that there were Egyptians was light skinned or some was brown skinned, they drew a line and said, okay, sub-Saharan Africa, and that's dark Africa. So right there, they played the color game on us. They made you think for you to be African, you can't look like you can't look like me. You gotta have big lips, big nose, and dark skin, and that's African because they live on a dark continent. When the truth is, Africans come in all skin colors, in all skin ranges, in all phenotypes. We're the most diverse people on planet Earth. That's the truth. And so if you get stuck in thinking that Egyptians gotta all be dark skinned, or watch this, or the Nubians are all dark skinned, and you yourself know Nubians come in a different color range. Some dark skin, some brown skin. We can see them actually depicted like that. So the win is the fact that they said that these people are indigenous Africans ranging from all skin color. That's the win. That's the win right there. I just want to put that in context. Not black skin ain't the win, because black skin is simply protection from the sun, living closer to the equator. Those living closer to the equator have darker skin. Those living further from the equator have lighter skin. So remember, that's race. We call that race politics. That's the foothold of racism, white supremacy, when they mandate that you're different based off the color of your skin, or you're a separate race because of the color of your skin. And when you play that game, you miss, you just, you lose that, because then they start saying the Egyptians ain't this because they ain't got, all of them ain't got big lips. So we lose that game. So I never want to play the skin color game.
But when you said that race is a social construct,
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel the same way, because for centuries race was something, and even to this day you have laws written down, and they mention uh, laws against discrimination,
Mm-hmm.
and race is mentioned. So it is a concept that even legally is recognized. But lately, a lot of people have been trying to talk about, race is a social construct. Race, some people say that race doesn't exist, but that's really
Your mic went out.
me now.
Yeah, I can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. If race maybe is problematic as a term, then I guess ethnic or ethnicity can be used. But the thing is that
Mm-hmm.
um, within Africa, we have tribes, and a synonym of tribe is also an ethnic group. So, of course, when we say race, we understand what we mean. And if we're dealing with our people, then we're talking about indeed Black African people.
Okay, so the, remember when they said they had, it's three races on planet Earth: Negroid, Caucasoid, and what's it? Negroid, Caucasoid, and I guess not Chinese. What's the word I want to use? Mongoloid. And this is the start of the race politics. And so there is no race. There's just Homo sapiens sapien diversifying. That there's just the African, and how the African migrates around planet Earth and diversify based off of its natural environment. And so watch this. So fundamentally speaking, all humans on Earth is African. That's that. That's a fundamental statement. And then you have to get into how the genes work and how things diversify into their environment. But and so basically, when you look at anybody, you're looking like an African mutated into his environment. And so, since we know we are the original, and and human life started on the continent of Africa, then we would be the blueprint for the all for all of humanity. So, so point you make, I get it, because I would never be the one to say that race didn't kill millions of people. The very idea of race killed millions of people. People got raped in the name of being named a black race. They got murdered. They got kidnapped. They got enslaved with people touting that they're black. So, yes, race did hurt us. Being classified in the race, we felt that. Martin Luther King and them felt that. Malcolm X and them died for the color of their skin. So I'm not marginalizing. I'm simply saying this was a tool of racism, white supremacy, so they could control resources and control people and divvy up, like the Cairo, I mean, my fault, at the what is that? The conference where they actually
1885, the scramble for Africa.
the scramble for Africa, absolutely. And so they did that in the name of race. And remember, when they carved up Africa, they actually drew lines down different ethnic groups and they separated tribes with those lines right there. So my point is that we, although race is a social construct, it was used as a tool of empowerment for white people. That's why I don't like to use that, because it empowers them. We come in all different colors, all different types of phenotypes. The blueprint for humanity is Africa. So any phenotype that you find outside of Africa, the genes are these genes are held in African people. How else can a gene get chosen? It would have to be there to get chosen. Even pale skin. We have the gene for pale skin, SL245. We carry that gene. It just does not express itself in Africa because it makes no sense. It kind of expresses itself with albinoism, which is different from pale skin, but it's like one protein away. Okay, so without trying to get you complicated, I'm saying science is on our side, and so I don't accept the social construct because it was the formulation. Matter of fact, they taught it in Harvard or Yale, and it was the basis for the daggone slave trade. So I can't teach that. I'm not going to teach that. That's not technically who we are. We're going to say we're more than
I
that.
understand. I understand. Uh, I don't expect you to teach that, and I understand we differ in opinion. Uh,
Yeah.
but just for the record, the issue or the concept of race was already there way before the Berlin conference, or let's say the scramble of for Africa, which was finalized in 1885. Way before that, there was a concept of race. But then again, I understand where people come from. Now, the first people I heard saying that race was a social construct, that was the Moors, because the Moors, they claim to be, well, most of them claim to be not Africans. They also
Mhm.
claim to be not black. So it's convenient for them to say, well, race is a social construct. Um,
You're right about that.
but then again, we have a lot of people now saying that race doesn't exist. But at the end of the day, I think it's the same for most people. When we use the term race,
Mhm.
uh, when it comes to us, it's just to just make the distinction between black African people and the rest of the people. Let me
You know what, I can agree
answer.
with
Let
you.
me
I can agree with
just
you on that.
yeah, just 1 second, please. Um, we have that message left by well, I don't even like the name. The name sounds like trolling. But the question is, peace to you all. Well, that's a French. The name is in French. Peace to you all. Just asking, what is the meaning of the Egyptian word tamahu? I went quickly through my notes, couldn't find anything, but I'm short with time now. Tamahu would describe Caucasoids, Caucasian type, European type of people. But then again, I like to show and prove what I'm saying, or at least give reference. I cannot at this point. It might be spelled differently where I quoted it, or I mean where I took note of the quote. So I will have to look again. But I'm aware there's one lady. Uh, f- for her, everybody's black. It's the same kind of thing. And she mentioned she did write that the Tamahu were black people, which really surprised me. So I will look for a quote, and then we can get back to the Tamahu. And now we have Maatiste Political Road. YouTube devrait mettre une fonction translate pour les minables francophones. Euh, pour les francophones, la meilleure chose à faire, je pense, c'est de prendre les cours de Medunetaire. Donc, il y a les cours privés individuels et il y a les cours de groupe. Donc, moi, j'aimerais bien donner des cours de groupe. Il suffit de s'abonner sur la chaîne. C'est seulement 15 € par mois et il y aura un cours par semaine. Je pense que c'est une bonne cadence, une bonne fréquence, une fois par semaine. Et là, on pourra faire ça en français sans problème. Maintenant, je fais pas de live en français parce que bon, ça fait des années que je vois les Français défendre des violeurs et des pédophiles. Et quand je dis les Français, je parle des panafricains francophones ou beaucoup de gens malheureusement qui se prétendent être kémites. Mais de toute façon, moi, tant que les gens ne soutiennent pas les violeurs, les pédophiles, etc., et qui veulent apprendre leur culture et qui n'écoutent pas les freestyles de faux professeurs qui vous dit que Mohamed est noir, qu'il a des portraits de lui, et qu'il a même des portraits de lui quand il était plus jeune, on pourra avancer. Mais bon, donc c'est à vous de voir. Hein. Principalement, vraiment, les cours de Médunetaire, c'est important. Je vois tous ces gens qui se disent kémites, et comme je le disais, ils connaissent même pas 3 mots en Médunetaire. Donc, allons plus loin dans la connaissance de notre culture. Mais de toute façon, n'hésitez pas si vous avez des questions en français quand je fais des lives, je peux toujours y répondre en français, il n'y a pas de souci. Donc, n'hésitez pas si vous avez des questions. Yes, so, Afro-Asiatic, how you doing, brother?
Peace, brother Shaka. Peace to the brother yeah. Uh Brother Shaka. I was supposed to have a debate lined up with the brother Chris, we
Yeah,
talked about just
he changed it.
recently.
He changed his
Yeah,
mind, right?
yeah, he don't want to smoke, but he's been inviting me on his channel to go over sources, and we have been doing so. You can go and look for yourself or whatever, or the audience over on Chris MVP's channel. But he don't want to smoke. I guess he feel like, I know a little too much for him or whatever about the particular subject matter. But the fact is that uh, the studies say that carriers of mitochondrial DNA L3 back migrated to Africa between 40,000 and 70,000 Ka. So that demonstrates that many of the African populations today that we would define as sub-Saharan African, they are actually basal Eurasians, and they are indistinguishable from Africans, and that's the problem. And we got to deal with that in the community. you know it's a massive basal Eurasian population that is below sub-Saharan Africa right now. Fang would be one of those tribes. They're in Gabon. There are a lot of the tribes that tell us this, and their genetics tell us this. So it's going to be a problem. I'm going to keep pushing it though, because I know it's the truth. And it can be demonstrated. And brothers are running from that. Garfield was
I'm
running
not
from that.
running. I'm not
I
running.
know you ain't. I know
Yeah, I'm
you
right
ain't.
here.
So I respect you. I respect you, because we done had these discourses,
Yeah, I'm right
and
here.
we kind of, came to a level of some, agreement at times. Once before we did on what was that? Unbiased sports. We had a good conversation.
Some of them
But yeah,
vaccines.
no, we was talking about the migrations and stuff.
Yeah, but you kind of mix it up. You over, you man. You know how you just drive a car too fast around the corner? That's what you do, yo. Although you in the corner and you making a turn, but you all over in the guardrail, you about to kill yourself.
But what you think of that though? What you think of these massive back migrations into
Because it's
Africa from
be-
Asia?
because
They're indistinguishable.
No,
yeah,
just
nah, no, 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 no.
sorry, just for the record, I don't know if you're
Mhm,
aware of that, but our brother Afroasiatic, he's of the opinion that Africans left Africa, went different places, and then they came back to Africa through Asia, and then they
mhm,
created the civilization of Kemet. So Afroasiatic is of the opinion, and he will say if
mhm,
I'm wrong,
mhm.
he's of the opinion that it was basically people who came through Arabia that created Kemet. So in other words, the Arabs created the civilization of Kemet. Am I right? Am I quoting you right, brother Afroasiatic?
Yeah, well, you're correct, but I didn't want to. I wasn't really bringing up that point of Kemet right now. I was just bringing up the overall data that tells us that it's a massive basal Eurasian, black basal Eurasian population in Africa right now, and brothers are ignoring that. That's my interest. Really, we
Yeah,
we,
but
we gotta just
I understand. Sorry to cut you off, but it's just so that Unc can be aware of that because besides the civilization of Kemet, our brother Afroasiatic is of the opinion that the
Mhm,
Hebrews or the inhabitants of Canaan and Arabia were
mhm.
black even in the 7th century. So therefore, Muhammad ibn Abdullah, the Prophet Muhammad, that he was black, if he existed or not, because there's the dispute about his historicity. But just so that Unc knows,
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
hold
I,
on. Let
I
me say
think
this.
I'll
Let
know
me
that
say
about
this.
me.
I'm completely aware of it. That's why I got out of the race thing because he can play the skin color game on you. And since I do understand genes and I understand genes, you cannot tell a person's who they are by their genes. That's a misnomer. Genes simply tell you about the area, and they use a molecular clock, which tell you where these genes express more at. So we do have back migrations, but the back migrations don't throw the overall population that's in Africa. That's why I'm writing a book on the Green Sahara. So we do have these basal Europeans that migrate back into the Sahara. You can see them on rock art, but they're not the majority of the population, right? They come back in, they get absorbed into the population. Matter of fact, they go all the way down to West Africa, but they get absorbed into the population. Just like we can look at the genes of African Americans, okay, and know that all the genes from African Americans don't come from Africa. 30% come from Europe. Sometimes it's 40%. But at no time do you say that the African Americans are not African. We have absorbed Europeans into our gene pool. But
Yeah,
that's nothing. As a matter of fact, Homo sapiens sapien is mixed from other archaic humans. So the order of day and business of the day is the mixture. There is no non-mixed Africans that ever resided on planet Earth. There is no non-mixed Homo sapiens sapien. Homo sapiens sapien is a collaboration of other archaic hominids. So the misnomer is that we teach that there's this pure African mixing with nothing, which ain't true, because we was mixing before we even left. Before the African left Africa, they mixed with. We got ghost genes that we don't even know what the archaic specimen is. We know it's a
that's right.
hominid. We don't
Hominin,
know,
yep,
right?
that's
So I'm
right.
saying before we left Africa, we was mixed when
Hmm.
when some Africans migrated, but see, we act like there was a million Africans that left. No, they was probably bands of 20, man. It wasn't this
Unc,
great
Unc, Unc,
migration
No,
back to
it,
Africa.
it it
Unc,
was millions, brother.
I'm sorry to cut you
They
off, but because
flooded the Arabian Peninsula and the
because
Levant.
because I don't have
Mhm.
much time before I have to return
Oh,
to work,
okay.
I just want to have
Okay.
your opinion on. Do you feel, and I'm sure you've seen the depiction of Canaanites from Kemet, for example, the one from Beni Hassan, and there's plenty other. Even Asaim Hotep, I don't know if yes, remember, well, you might have forgotten, but you even read my article like 10 years ago, the article when I disagreed with Asaim Hotep, because back then he used to talk about the Hebrews in Kemet. But lately, he made a presentation and he
Mm-hmm.
showed several depictions of Asiatics, and they
Hmm.
clearly, and he said that's what you will call white folks today. So my
Yeah.
question to you is, since even in like 1000 BC, 1200, 1300 BC,
Uh-huh.
the people of Kemet depicted those surrounding inhabitants as white.
Uh-huh.
Do you feel like the people of Canaan, the people of Arabia were black during the 7th century, let's say?
No, I think you already proved that. We use your work to prove. You already beat that up years ago. We ain't going back down that. You
Yeah,
already.
I
You
just wanted to
already. Hold on for a
add
minute.
on for
Let
the
me finish.
record.
Let me finish my point. I'm saying that white people. That you first of all, I don't even like the term white people, but we know these Asiatics, right? That's the point. You got Asiatics with brown skin. That doesn't make them African, though. When we say, see, in the literature, there's African and non-African. And I'm going to close out with this. When we say African, we're saying that they genes mutated on the continent of Africa. Non-African mean a gene pool broke away from Africa and they genes mutated outside of the continent of Africa. So those Asiatics in them, they have mutations that are outside of Africa. So you always was right, Shaka. We ain't gonna let nobody trick us when they throw in the genes. You was right without even using genes. Simple
Yeah,
as that.
I just wanted to add on for the record that a basal Eurasian is indistinguishable from an African. A prime example would be the Jawawa of the Andaman Islander. They are very dark-skinned people. They are a Nilotic-looking type, but they are in fact basal Eurasian, meaning they are D markers. Any markers that developed after D, they are all basal Eurasians. We don't get down to Europeans until about 6,000 years. So, according to National Geographic, so essentially, prior to that time, all of those markers that developed outside of Africa were essentially various highly melanated types of people. So I wanted to be clear on that. When I say basal
You tricking
Eurasian,
people.
I
You
mean
tricking us
I'm
now.
not tricking anybody. I'm
Yeah,
talking
you
about
tricking us.
a basal
No,
Eurasian
I'm saying you tricking
But
is
us.
indistinguishable from an
but
African.
No,
but
you
but, but
tricking
you
the
see,
audience right now, though.
you
I just
see,
want to
That's
be
reality.
clear.
just so that you know, our brother is talking about something that apparently was published in National Geographic, where
Yeah,
someone said that there was no white people prior to 6,000
yeah. The skin color, the mutation.
Yes, the
BC.
allele.
And I haven't read that issues. My point
It's
is that
not
you see these
six
type
thousand.
of
Not
dates.
6,000.
Uh, I don't
Yeah,
deal with
six
those dates,
thousand. No?
It's
But
not 6,000.
but you know what? It will be good to see that quote anyway. It will be good to see that quote. But brothers, because I have to go back to work, always feel free. I will try to do a bit more live streams. So
Yeah, I appreciate your
thank you
work.
very much for calling in, and
Peace,
we get to
Shaka.
speak later. All right, peace, brothers. Okay, so
Peace, man.
brothers and sisters, indeed, I have to go back to work. You can subscribe to my channel, and for those who want to learn the Medu nature, I'm giving lessons. Stay safe, stay healthy, and if I'm allowed to the nature, I will definitely holler back at you. Hotep. Now, for the record, for those who don't know, I'm giving Medu nature classes, and here, that's the flyer. Okay, so those who are interested, feel free to holler at me. If you're not interested, it's cool. But I recommend that everybody who has not yet seen the video Kemet and Ma'at before Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, then watch it. It has about 300,000 views and really deserves to have a lot more. I just want to let everyone know who's listening in now and who's going to listen to this stream in the future. I just had my first Meta Nature class by Brother Shaka today, and I've had other Meta Nature lessons by other teachers, and I can tell you right now, the brother is the best in the game. He is that was one of the best classes I've ever had, ever. So if you're interested in learning the Meta Nature, if you're interested in getting the basics of it, Brother Shaka is an awesome teacher. Get with him, and it's extremely affordable.
This brother is giving us his time and his skills, and he's basically giving it away. I mean, I just consider it a donation. You know what I'm saying? So if anybody's interested in learning the Metanetia, get with this brother right here. He's an awesome, awesome, awesome teacher. And I'll end with that.
Hotep Senu, Hena Senut. This is Julie, also known as Servant of Yah, and I'm currently taking the Metanetia classes with Brother Shaka, and it has been an amazing experience. Only 2 lessons so far, and I feel like I've been taking the classes for months, just with the how in depth he goes into the vocabulary words, the construction of the language, the grammar. It's been immeasurable, the experience. And one thing that comes across, hands down, is his extreme passion for teaching this to anyone who is willing to learn and has an interest in learning. So I highly suggest, if you are interested, even a minimal interest, that you subscribe to the classes with Brother Shaka. It's such a nominal amount for how much you get. I know, like, our last class was over 2.5 hours. It felt like 2 minutes, but because that's how involved you are in what he's teaching and how he teaches and how compassionate he is about what he teaches. Also with sharing materials free of charge, no question, no doubt. It's just what he does. He doesn't have to, but he does. And so I just wanted to give a short testimonial about the class and the effectiveness of the class. And all of that is attested to how studied Brother Shaka is. So I highly recommend anyone with a minimal interest that you do sign up for the Metanetia class. Hotep.
Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, which is Ma'at Forever. Don't forget to watch the video entitled Kemet and Ma'at. Don't forget to share Kemet and Ma'at on my channel on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, or other social media that you use. Email, text messages, you name it. Those who wish to donate can do so on paypal.me/ma'atforever.